So, my dear Leo, the Earth has continued its path, and we see behind the Sun, which is ruling you, the Scorpio constellation. And so, Scorpio is that intense moment where we recognize, okay, now the leaves are falling and everything is shifting and changing because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is the shadow side and the mystic deep within us. The moon as well has continued its path around the Earth, and we see now behind the moon your constellation, Leo. The strength Leo is calling into Scorpio. It's almost like he's saying, hey, watch out, right? Now you are going to bring here the heaviness of death to us, right? And it's almost like, I don't like that, but we cannot do anything about it. It's part of the cycle, and this cycle is really important. And you are now getting through the sun, which is ruling you, right? You are getting this message. So here we have the 8th house of reincarnation, and you are the 5th house of joy and fun. And so you're not really into, that kind of stuff unless you really want to be part of a higher consciousness, and then you are recognizing the transcendence to all of this. The yoga position for Scorpio is Scorpio. We bring our feet above our head as that moment where we let go of our ego. And so here comes the phoenix that rises out of its own ashes, but here it rises out of the subconscious, out of the shadow, right? And so it's really working on all of us. You got Simhasana, the lion's breath and position, and you have that moment with the in and the exhale, and that's where Leo is roaring. He is letting us know, hey, here, this is my moment, right? But right now it's almost like you're calling into your shadow side, but that this is the end. This is now over, right? The transformation. You want to actually live, right? You want to be part here in this dimension and be active. So this just to the sun and the moon. Then we have, of course, your court card, which is the King of Fire here in the good tarot that I gave you. Here, the King of Wands is between July 13 and August 12. If your birthday is before or after, please look below in my description. I have listed all the cards, all the dates, all the positions that I'm using here today on this reading. Back to the last reading, because everything is cyclical. We had Libra Sun giving Leo Moon the light. You decided to be truly happy and have total fun from now on. Well, that sounds fun. So as you can see, you decided, you made that decision, right, of having fun and enjoying yourself. And that's a good decision, right? Because, yeah, sometimes we go through difficult situations and it's not easy to then recognize that we are in charge of saying, enough, now I'm going to have fun again. Now, on the position of the call, which is the number 20 in the major arcanas, which is also connected to Pluto. Pluto is ruling these two cards in the major arcanas, Scorpio and, of course, the call. And the interesting thing is that Pluto is going next year, 2024, for 20 years into the sign Aquarius. And for me, Aquarius is the new age as well, right? Because the Earth does a wobble to the left, which is called precession. and the procession goes backwards through the zodiac signs, right? And of course that's a very long move, 25,000 years. And so there is something with Aquarius, but now also that Pluto is going for 20 years into Aquarius, I am looking, of course, into the call, right? Because this is going to affect us all. And I'm actually checking now in this month what that does to us. Now here I'm going to pull one more card, the Lifruma Healing Oracle. And this deck I purchased this year, so it's pretty new. And I'm going to see what the message is or what the call is. Leaves shade. Leaf shade, cradled, the number 48. The symbol or the sign or the letter, leaf shade. 48, the 4 is the Emperor or Aries, ruled by Mars. The 8, that's you, right? You are the strength, the number 8, that infinite symbol, that infinite strength that we have to find deep within us. The 4 and the 8 creates a 12. The 12 is the Hanged Man, is letting go. It's the pre-stage to Scorpio, death, right? And ruled by Neptune. And Neptune is all about our dreams and our consciousness, right? And how we actually see things, and it affects us. So the 12 becomes then a 3, and the 3 is the Empress, is that new state of consciousness, is that birth to a new you. And of course, the Empress is ruled by Venus, by the beauty and by the love that she feels deep within her. Now, when we calculate it together, the 48 plus the 20 is a 68, and the 68 then creates a 14, and the 14 is Temperance. Temperance is Sagittarius, and next month you get the reading through the Sun in Sagittarius, and so Temperance is going to play a part here. And the 14 calculated together, we get a 5, and the 5 are the 5 senses, are the trials and tribulations that we go through. And so I think you're learning here to see in this call, right, the call to recognize that you are your own Empress deep within you. Plus the 2, you get the 5, and you use the 5 senses to recognize that they are the doors and the windows or portals out into higher dimensions. So I'm going to read you this card, and you can of course always stop the video and read it yourself. Cradled neath the comforting branches of trees stretching, providing peace, shelter, wisdom, and direction. Contemplate the rate at which a tree breathes and lives. Join its calming pace by allowing nature's healing to kiss us all deep inside. Healing herbs and tinctures are shared with us by plant spirits, whispering on a sultry breeze under their sacred shaded foliage. Cradled. So you are cradled by the leaves, by the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll was, right, the only way that we actually can exist here, because the blue-green algae in the water started to create, through the chlorophyll that it took from the sun, then the byproduct of oxygen. And oxygen is why we can exist actually and breathe here. Before, there was just no way for us to be able to live here on planet Earth. So the message is very clear. The green is also the heart chakra, right? The 4, and of course, then here the 8 is 2 times 4. And so you see that there is something quite interesting coming to you. And also the call itself has that slight green color, right? So there is love coming at you, and we're gonna begin with the reading. I am going to read to the right. You will see from now on an arrow here between the two signs, and the arrow to the right means we're going to your full moon, which is in the month of Aquarius, and that's why this is also important for you to know that Pluto next year is going to be in Aquarius, and Aquarius is your opposite sign, is the sign that's going to give you the light at your full moon in the month of January, February. So know that Aquarius is that most outer perspective that you can reach, because it's your opposite sign. And this is what's happening with leaves, right? Leaves are the most outer projection of a tree, right? And so in a way it's like saying, yes, you are reaching out like a tree into this world, even though right now the leaves are falling down and are dying, right? And so Scorpio is letting you know, well, there is now more retrieving happening in this month, but still you're going out, right? But you're getting ready to go out. And so I feel there is a very interesting message already happening just with that. So to the right, the full moon, and when the arrow goes to the left, we go to the new moon, back to sun and new moon, both in your sign, back home, right? And the left is always that soul path, and to the right, it's that human path. So we begin on the position of the Fool, which is also connected with Uranus, and Uranus is always the new beginning and the change. The Fool is calling you. There is this state of consciousness deep within you that's saying, well, the Wheel of Fortune is calling you, something to expand, something to go out. And it's almost saying, yes, go out, like here the leaves go out, creating shade, creating green shelter, creating oxygen for us. And you see how this old man is crawling into the soul path. Meanwhile, the wheel is spinning out into the human path. And she is as well facing the left, the soul. She's calling into the soul, right? And so these 4 first cards of the major arcana, because it's a path out, right? It's a path of growth. Constantly we're growing and we're shifting. And so the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, and the Empress, those are the first 3 states of consciousness that are happening in your brain. And so here you get that feeling of 0 to 100, because this is the 10 and this is the 0, so you go from 0 to 100. So there is an idea, there is something that you want to start fresh and new. And you see how here in the center you sit as that central consciousness, and the 4 stages of life, right? The first 25 years, 25 years, 25 years, 25 years, so it's 100 years, right? But she sits in the center, and you know, when you meditate, you get the understanding that everything is the wheel of samsara, right? The story of coming and going and coming and going. So it's very interesting, right? You're going from 0 right away to 100, and it's like, okay, where you focus on? Are you focusing on this, crawling, right, with here the Fool to the left, to the soul, or are you still wanting to go out? Are you still wanting to experience life, or are you going totally into the center? Then on the position of the magician. The magician here brings you the magic, the number 33. And so the 33 is a very strong and powerful number. The sacred societies have used it as the 33-degree rank, right? When you had the 33 degrees, you were like a master. And Jesus Christ died on the cross when he was 33. So the 33 is a very magic number. And of course, the magic is coming here to you. And the one of the magician would create here a 34. And then the 34 becomes, right, the marriage of the empress and the emperor, which then becomes a 7, a higher consciousness. The crown chakra is letting you know, well, then you understand that here the magician is connected with Mercury. Mercury is bringing you always the consciousness, right, the mind, the speech, that understanding that I have in my brain. And you had here the 4, right? So let's say if we calculate here the 1 with the 33, you get a 34, and the 4 is in here. And when we calculate this together, we get the 3. So there is a marriage, right, between masculine and feminine. Always when I see the 3 and the 4 next to each other. And so here, since this is an oracle card, I picked from a new deck, from a new old deck, the Mother Peace Tarot. Here, this card, and it's facing to the left. And it's very interesting because here comes the Shaman of Wands. The Shaman of Wands is you, so you are coming up, right? The King of Fire. And you're facing here the left. So there is something that you spiritually still want to understand, because for some reason I get the feeling this is connected not with him but with this person. There was something in your life that said, well, I lived this part and I lived this part and now I am in this part, right? Here from a moment where I'm actually descending, something is going, and here comes, right, the Shaman of Wands. And I really love these cards because they're round and they give me the possibility to really look at now the 33 one more time. And you are here the 5th house of joy and happiness, right? And so it's almost like saying, yes, you want to live joy and happiness, because you know, the 7 and the 8 becomes the 15. The 15 is then the Capricorn, the devil, the attachment to negativities that we have to overcome, because when we calculate the 15 together, we get, of course, the 6. And the 6 is Gemini, the lovers, is that I have arrived deep within myself in an understanding of this 6 if I would calculate it together, right? So have a look, right, and see what this means, because when it's facing the left, then the Shaman of Wands is saying, first of all, the card is saying the shaman opens his hand to make available his power and authority to those around him. To the left, he lacks the energy to fully rise to the situation. So, as you can see here, the red is going down, and it's almost like, yes, you are lacking the power to actually say, yes, I am magic. Yes, I am special. Yes, I am here through the magician getting the magic. I'm a magic child, because, I mean, this is you, right? This is your court card, unless your birthday is, of course, before or after the date I gave you. So have a look, right? Really interesting. Then on the position of the High Priestess comes here the 4 of Wands. And the Four of Wands is connected with Venus in Aries. And Aries was here in the 4, right? The 4 that says, well, recognize that you understand that everything has its moment. The 4 came also here with the 33, and when we calculate the 1 to it, we got the 34. And so the 4 is letting you know that you are, when you adding the constellation Venus in Aries, that there is a beauty in being in control, being a master, being an emperor, being someone that says, well, yes, magic can only really function if I exert a certain amount of power over it. And the 2 and the 4 creates a 6, and the 6 is again that self-love. If I would calculate the 2 3s together, we would have here a 6-6 portal. The 6 is magic, the 6 is the hexagram, right? Is a very powerful geometrical sacred form. And so recognize that, right? Recognize that you are called to really look deeper, because the high priestess is connected with the moon, and the moon is always about, I am ready to see my feelings, I am ready to look deeper in my subconscious, and here comes the invitation to see through your intuition the call of taking action, right? And celebrate yourself in how far you have come. And this is all happening in your head, right? Here's the inspiration that brings you, yes, you are magic. And here's the inspiration, yes, you can celebrate, right? And yes, it's all a destiny, right? It's all your destiny that you are now allowed, even though you're going down, to celebrate where you are now and what you have achieved and how far you have come. Then on the position of the Empress comes Libra. And Libra last time said you decided to be truly happy and have total fun from now on. So here you are giving birth to a new you, because here in this deck the Libra energy, the justice energy, is the 8. And usually that's your 8, right? In some decks here you are the 8, and in some other decks, here this is a very old one. Again, I have listed all the cards that I'm using. Here the justice is the 8, right? So here you have an 8-8 portal. It's almost like, yes, justice or Libra is saying, well, enjoy, celebrate, right? Understand that you're giving birth to a new you. It's not anymore about you learning to roar or to find your strength. Now it's learning to be in harmony. It's learning to breathe. It's learning to understand that you are moving to a new dimension, right? There is a call that the Empress, which is connected with the planet Venus, and Libra is also connected with Venus, you are getting a real call, a real information of now you can be in harmony, in beauty, in love, and really enjoy it. Then comes on the position of Leo energy, right? The strength energy, which is of course in the moon, the call, right? The Fool. And the Fool is literally calling into now here the understanding that you have shifted from strength to justice, that you are having to understand your new position. You are not anymore just working on the lower energies of, you know, I am combining this wild beast deep within me with this innocent lady. It's like now you are called to see that you are also justice, that you are bringing yourself always into your own equilibrium. And so the 8 and the 0, right? The 8 is love. And so you are recognizing now that the moon is bringing to you your feelings and your subconscious, and like I said, you want to begin something new. You want to be more in harmony. You want to really see that you are beginning a new phase in your life, even though it's going down, right? You're not there yet. You're here, right? And so recognize that, right? Understand that. Then on the position of the King of Fire comes the Messenger of Air, and that's a Gemini. And Gemini is literally behind her. Look at that. It's very interesting. So here the soul is letting you know, hey, you can do this, right? Gemini is the lovers, like I said. Gemini is also then here, right? The third zodiac sign. So the 3 is connected with then the communication, the way we communicate, the way we speak, right? And how we call the people and how we call out justice. And that's a state of consciousness that goes deep within to your soul. And so you see here that the magic that actually the magician brings, right, is also actually here connected now to this, right? Because you see that this is underneath the magic, and the Fool came underneath, and so it's the same, right? This child is her, and here we see her close up, and now we see her calling out, right, justice, calling out you, recognizing that this is your number, and the 8 can be justice or strength. What do you want rather, strength or justice, or both, right? Because you have the 33, so why not be both, right? And so Gemini is helping you to really love yourself, and Gemini is the 3rd house of communication, and you are the 5th house of joy. So communicate your joy into the world, because that creates an 8, and the 8 is again connected with you. That infinite power that you have, or the infinite justice that you have now deep in your heart, right? Because you see your body part is your heart, but also see the sun, right? Like a halo shining your love and your understanding of the love out into this world. And then on the position of the sun, I got 2 cards coming up, which is rare, right? But when I grabbed the card, these 2 came up. And so here we see Hermann Handel's Tarot. And I'm just going to put this a little bit behind, because you see the feathers, and you know that card. So here we get the Prince of Swords, which is Gemini. So you got Gemini twice, and have a look. Once Gemini is looking to the soul, but Gemini is also letting you know, go forward, go into now your outer perspective, go into the full moon. Then you got here the pages of stones, right? And that's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So here the pages are bringing you an understanding that when we go out, we understand the material world, we understand that everything has its reason. So here in this deck, the transformation is that innocent child, that the 13 becomes a 4, right? And we had the 4 here in this card, right, in the leaves, and we also had the 4 here in the magic when we calculate the one of the magician with here the 33. We got the 4 here as well, right? And we have the 4 of Wands, right? So the 4 is also that heart space, but also the 4 elements, helping me to actually see what's happening here. Now these are 3 zodiac signs plus the one of Gemini, which is the swords, right? And you got Gemini twice, once facing the soul and once facing out into the world, into now where you're going. You get also a 4 here. And so the 4-4 portal here is telling you, well, you understand more and more that being an emperor is okay. Being majestic, being someone that is learning, right, to be a shaman, right, is learning to be empowered, even though that's the 5th zodiac sign. But we got the 5 here, and those are the 5 senses. And you love the 5 senses, right? Because your adventure and your fun, having fun, is through the 5 senses. Then, of course, on the position of the moon, which is then connected with the moon, right? This is a dream oracle, comes the caterpillar. And so the 18, which becomes a 9, and the 4, right? So we have a 4-4-4 portal here again. And so the 4 is coming up quite a lot, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, of course, with Scorpio 5, right? So 5 times the 4, it's the 5 senses, is the communication. And so the 9 and the 4 creates a 13. The 13, then again, the 4 is left. So you understand here that Scorpio is talking to you, and Scorpio is saying, well, this is really a transformation. This is a caterpillar, an opportunity for you now to rise out, to understand that the material world is bringing us the transformation, right? The soul doesn't need to transform itself. The soul comes down here to experience this again and again and again. And so the Gemini in your mind's eye, right, is bringing you the opportunity of this, both perspectives, right? The soul is learning through the human experience, through the material experience, but also through the mental, right? We're learning and we're growing constantly. Then I leave these cards here because otherwise I get a cramp in my hand, right? So then here I pulled also, because this is an oracle card, I pulled here again from the Mother Peace Tarot deck a card, and you got the 10 of Cups. And the 10 of Cups is connected with Mars in Pisces. And Mars in Pisces is bringing you the understanding that, again, Mars is ruling the Emperor, is the 4, right? That this transformation takes an empirical state of mind, and then you are diving into an absolute happiness, a happiness that gives you hope, right? That gives you here the 10 of Cups. And I'm going to read to you what this means, right? Because these cards are really exquisite. I really love them. That's why I'm using them now as a clarification on the oracle cards, right? Because they're not connected really with the tarot. So the 10 of Cups. Women give thanks for the rain, which will ensure a good harvest. Just gonna turn it up, right? So the women are giving thanks to the rain, which will ensure a good harvest. Then, of course, it was facing the left. The left says she's not fully releasing herself into the love and happiness around her. So in a way, it's also here, right, that you had here a little bit of a reluctance to really be the shaman that's saying, well, I'm taking action to be the magic, right? And you see now here and in between the Fool, these are very magic colors. You see that? it's very interesting. It's giving you like an understanding that you're going more and more into a deeper transformation. The magic is knocking on the door. Then the Fool says, yes, begin, begin. And then the Four is coming here and is saying, well, you are really shifting and transforming, even though you're also getting the message that sometimes you are blocking it, right? Maybe your ego, your mind is blocking it. And then also here, something is saying, well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to be this magnificent being, but yes, you are. And this is a dream, right? This is coming up in your dream, so make it a reality. Then, on the position of the Sun, which is, of course, ruling you, right? So the Sun is bringing you here the 9, the volcano, and the 19 is the 10. And the 10 and the 9 is again a 19. So you gain clarity in showing who you truly are, exploding into this new you, right? The power to be you, the power that you denying here, right? As the shaman, denying, right? So denying that you are being empowered. And so recognize then again the 10 is left. The 10 is saying, well, the 10 was here at the beginning. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune said, well, explode and be now in this phase, because this phase is very important, because that's the last phase where you are gonna then come into the purity of the old age, the wise man. But here is the last stage of taking that action towards it, right? And so here I picked as well a Mother Peace Tarot, and here you got the Empress upside down. And the Empress, right, brought you here the Justice. And so see what's talking, see again what's coming up to you as that new birth. And so I'm just gonna put this down and I'm gonna read to you the Empress, which is the 3, right? The 48 here calculated is then the 12, and then the 3 is left. So here you get the Empress. I'm gonna put it upside so you see. The Empress is relaxing. It's a warm summer day and she savors the fruits of past work. Covered with nothing more than a leopard skin blanket, she smells a rose and enjoys a peaceful moment. She knows that the earth is bountiful because she has worked to make it so. A bull stands at a distance, alert and ready to bring in the harvest when the Empress needs his help. The Empress has positioned herself in a circle of her favorite ancestors. So, reverse. The Empress is in a period of dormancy. She may feel as if she can't take care of herself or anyone else. The Empress may feel that her creativity is dried up. It's winter, a cyclical period of rest. And yes, this is why actually you get also here the position of the King of Wands that you are facing right now, the left, right? You're going deep within, but at the same time you also mentally realize you want to go out, right? And that's a mental state. That's like researching, because Gemini is a researcher, right? He's always looking for answers to all his questions. And so in both ways you are here challenged. And so the Sun here, right, which brought you the 10, and the 3 is the 13. 13 again. Scorpio is letting you know, because on the Sun is Scorpio, that you are transforming, that you are truly shifting, right? That you are changing and that you're finding the magic in your hands, right? And so allow also to let go, because the leaves are falling, right? And things are shifting and changing. And that the 13 again brings you a 4. I'm going to calculate all the 4s together because I think the 4 is going to be the number in this reading. And then on the last position here of the world, which is connected with Saturn, and Saturn are boundaries, are lessons, comes the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands with the Four of Wands creates 6 Wands, right? Remember, 6 is Gemini, the lovers, is that I am understanding who I am, and you had the 33 with the magic, right? And you had here Gemini, which is the 3rd house of communication twice. So there is a 3-3 right here, right? And so, yes, you are understanding that the 21 makes a 3, and the 3 and the 2 is a 5. And so here you see, when we close with this, with the call, right, of the Pluto energy, the 5, we have a 5-5 portal, right? And you are looking here into the leaves, into the outer perspective of yourself, right? Taking the action, exploding, exploring, going out and seeing then that you have here the leaf, the 48 plus the 20, right? Which is then, of course, calculated together here. The 5, the 14 in the next month, it's almost like the volcano in the next month. It's letting you know, you going out. You're really going out into the sun, and you are exploring and exploding and showing who you truly are, right, in this world, because we're going to your full moon. And so we see here that Mars in Aries, right, is giving you the power and the push to go out, no matter what difficulties are here, no matter that you are facing down. It's okay, right? Sometimes that's what it is. But you are wanting to show to the world that you are here, that you are Leo, and that you are being called to be now a new energy. And it's almost like here you're seeing yourself as that fool, you're seeing yourself in the wheel of fortune that is bringing you a new perspective, that you are reaching now the 3/4 of your life, right? And making that a really important life decision that will help you to begin to understand who you are becoming. Wow, what a reading. So I hope I see you in the next one, because I mean, I see here the volcano, I see here that push outward, right, in Sagittarius. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.